Hey, I'm Andy, and welcome to Rock, Roll, and Red Plaid. Tonight on Rock, Roll, and Red Plaid, we have singer-songwriter Jon Statham. With an amazing songwriting skill, an incredible singing voice, and a good demeanor, this is going to be an episode you are surely not going to want to miss.
I want to spend a year in your heart for just one night. I want to own a space in your mind.
Alrighty, the Rock, Roll, and Red Plaid podcast here with one and only Jon Statham. Thank you so much for coming with and joining us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, just was listening to your new album last night. The Struggle is Beautiful. Folks listening, do yourselves a favor and get it. It is fantastic. Just song after song after song is just one fantastic one after the other.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah. Starting off with a question I ask everybody: what was your aha moment? A musician that made you step back and go, "Okay, aha, I want to do that too." Who was your guy for that?
It was probably when I was 5 or
Okay.
so. I think it was like 4 or 5. It must have been 4 or something like that. And it was summer. We were in the backyard playing, and there was a radio on, and there was a song on, and I just found myself able to use my voice the way the singer was. And I thought, whoa, I think I can do this. Like, I enjoy doing it,
Sure.
but I actually can match the notes. And imagine I I think I sounded as good as a 4-year-old could sound doing that. But yeah, but it was probably then. I think I'd wanted to, but at that moment I'm like, yeah, okay, I have a shot. I can do this.
Do you recall the tune and who it was, or
I'm pretty sure it was Drift Away by Dobie Gray. It was on
okay,
some oldies
sure,
70s station, but I mean
uh-huh,
that's a great tune.
of course,
And it's
yeah.
all about making music. So
There it is, yeah, and that's what we love doing.
that's right. That's right. And
Um,
you play too, I see.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
I and for me, this is another question too, because predominantly I'm a guitar player who's learning how to sing. For
Okay.
you, you seem to do both so effortlessly. Does one of them naturally come easier to you? Do you have to work at one versus the other, or?
Well, singing came naturally to me at first. I grew up in a family that sang. So to me, it was like, oh, that's what we do here on this planet. Like, people sing. I didn't know that people learned to sing.
Right.
So, I mean, as soon as I met other people, I discovered that wasn't true. But, I also, figured out how fortunate I was to grow up in a family like that. But I started playing violin and viola in school,
Okay.
and that took work, obviously.
Yeah, it's a
And
hard instrument.
yeah, I should have practiced a lot more, but it really trained my ears
Mm.
playing in the school orchestras and hearing how parts work together, and just kind of arranging tips. But when I was a junior in high school, guitar just totally took over. And
As you
because
do.
yeah, I know it's just that kind of portable, cool instrument.
Yep.
I wrote a post recently on social media. I said, even actors want to be rock stars.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
They're just, it's just a thing to be that I wanted to be. So
Mm.
when I started playing guitar, since I was already a singer, I told myself, anything that I learn to play, I'm going to learn to sing it at the same time, so that I
Mm.
just learn it that way while singing it. I mean, I would learn them separately, but I always put it together. And I started out, learning like James Taylor and Neil Young. Neil Young's a great
Mm.
uh, artist and a great artist to learn how to play guitar on because he's just real, mostly simple chords, but tons of combinations of chords which make all of his best work. So that's how I learned, started out.
Yeah, you're going back to your arrangements of songs too, and how you were writing, and you were talking about arrangements, learning arrangements. Your songs really are very easy to listen to. By that I mean like they're relatable, they're very catchy, and they you remember them long after they're done. Do you have
Oh, thank you.
I mean it, of course. For would you give what would you give advice to younger songwriters these days who are looking to achieve what you're doing?
Well, first of all, keep it relatable. I mean, it has to be real to you, first of all. And then once it's real to you, take a look at how you can change each line to make each line the best that it can be. But before any of that, I would say focus on the melody. Like, for example, it's not even the words, it's what's being sung, like the notes being sung,
Mm,
independent of the words being sung. Like do 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 do.
hmm.
Once we do our work in promoting that song, people will go, "Oh, I know what that song is," and I know you know
Yes.
what it is. So,
Yes.
um, but independent of, I can't live with your ghost one more day.
Right.
You get the separation of the
Yeah.
notes that are sung and the words. So I would concentrate on making the best melody you can with the notes that you're singing. And then it's a game of using each of those notes and fitting the exact words and message you want to deliver in that number of notes. It's a game, you know.
Yeah,
It's a definitely interesting game.
there's even instrumental guitarists who can sing a melody with the instrument. You know,
Oh yeah.
Jeff Beck or Satriani or guys like that who can sing with the instrument, and it's remarkable because you hear the crowd singing back their melodies.
Yeah. Jeff Beck is an excellent example of that.
Perfect. Yeah. Speaking of amazing musicians, I had Billy Sheehan on the show not too long ago. Um,
Wow. Thank you for
yes,
alerting me to that. That was
yes, and he
save that as a tip. Oh my God. It was
sung your praises quite highly. So which where I got connected with you, and he says hello, by the way. Uh,
uh,
he how did you get connected with him and also Ray Luzier, who played on your album there?
well, it all came about, by the way, I'll message him as well, but hello, Billy, if you talk. But it all started when I did this songwriting, it was sort of a song showcase.
Mhm,
And at the time I was living in Los Angeles.
mhm,
I had previously lived in Nashville, but we moved back to LA for like 2.5 years. And during that time, a buddy of mine, a drummer that lived in Nashville, called me and he said, "Hey, wondered if you wanted to play this. It's like an hour-long showcase. I need a guitar player that can sing. I have this singer that we both know coming up from Florida. I'll be on drums and Billy Sheehan's on bass." And I said yes, but not only did I say yes, immediately I had the thought, I'm going to work with Billy Sheehan. It, it was just this light
mm.
decision. I said, I'm
Yeah.
going to work with Billy Sheehan. And so we were putting together the set list and I put one of my own songs in there, which was Tidal Wave. And a
Yes.
couple of rehearsals into getting ready for the show. He's like, yeah, it's good tune. And then after we played the show, well, there were a couple singer-songwriter, just acoustic performers before the band that we were in played, and I did a short set with some other originals, so he got to hear a few more. And after the show, we had a great time, really nice show. And I said, "Man, that Tidal Wave, it's a really good song. He said, you got any more? We should be in touch." I'm like, "Yeah, totally." So we exchanged numbers, and when I got back to LA, I emailed him a couple more, one of which was the last song on the album, Do You, which he
Mhm,
loved.
yeah.
And he texted me back. He's like, "Man, if you have like 12 more songs like Tidal Wave and Do You, I would make a record with you anytime. I'm like, that's it.
That's it.
Going to Nashville. Like we're
There
gonna
it
make
is.
like the
Yeah.
power of a decision, right?
Hmm.
Like this,
Oh,
concentrating on this effort. It was just like, I'm gonna do it,
yeah.
and the goal was in the future, and that sort of laid out the steps that I needed to do in present
Hmm.
time to get to that goal. So it was a
Yeah.
super exciting process. So prior to moving here again, I made a couple visits, and I think by the time we started working together to tweak the songs, we had like about 40 or 50 songs that I sent him,
Wow.
all of which were, they're good quality stuff.
Sure.
But there seemed to be 16 of them that just they sort of belonged together. They were in a group, and had they told the story of what I was going through at that time, which was, well, it was 2020, so it was a lot of chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, so we worked on all the songs. It was a lot of loss in that period of time too.
Sure.
So as
Sure.
you heard the album, so
Hmm.
uh, so in March of 2020, after a few visits here, the pandemic hit, and the shutdowns,
Yeah.
and Los Angeles was just kind of telling us, hey, maybe you should live somewhere else. I mean, they didn't actually tell us, but
Well, I
that's,
was about to say that's a direct exodus, as it were.
yeah, I mean, well, things had not been good for musicians since the beginning of that year. There was a law that was passed that had a lot of opposition from independent musicians
Right.
that was limiting independent musicians from hiring. Like if I hired a trumpet player to just play one part on a song, I had to like have him as an employee and have to do workers' comp, and like it's like, and it
Hmm.
was all just an effort to sort of squash musicians, the independent musicians. So that was already not going good. So March hit, and all the clubs closed down, and nobody wanted to spend money on my recording services. So I was like, you know what? let's uh let's move to LA. We were gonna go in April anyway to work on the album some more, but we're just like, you know what, let's just go to Nashville and let's make this album. And then around that same time, Billy got called home from his tour in Eastern Europe. So it was perfect. Ray he was done with his touring obligations for that period of the year. And of course, there was none for the rest of the year. So
Nope.
everybody just came back to Nashville, and it was time to record. So on
There you
June
go.
6th, we started tracking the drums. And oh, I'll never forget, first time I met, I thought I was going over to Billy's just to work on the song some more. And
Hmm.
the engineer, Scott Bush, and Ray were there.
Hmm.
And Ray comes up to me, his first time meeting him, he's like, hey, I'm a big fan of your songs. I'm like, what?
Awesome.
Is
Ray's
this really
amazing.
happening?
I would love to have him on the show, if ever, I love Ray.
He's a great guy. I mean, both, everybody that worked on this record, and
Yeah.
Billy is a dear, dear man.
Sure.
He's probably one of the most well thought of famous musicians that I've ever met, and it's all true.
Yeah.
He's just a stellar, stellar person and a
Yeah,
friend.
really.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, so the album, The Struggle is Beautiful, definitely, like I said, go get it. Absolutely, you know, um, I always say what separates the good from the great is the good songs, the good quality hooks, lyrics, music arrangements, as you said. From today's songwriters, who are the guys who inspire you today, listening to anything that go,
I love
okay,
Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's,
yeah.
he's just a master. I mean,
He has something that
so
I
good.
don't think much other pop singers do, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just has a real sense of melody and changing things up and just keeping it interesting. It just
Mm,
seems infinitely like there's no stop on his
no,
creating great melodies. It's just great.
I hear you.
He's the tops nowadays in my view.
I think so. Yeah, I gotta dive more into what he does. I know the radio songs, but I want to dive into the deeper stuff he's done. From what I've heard, I love it.
Yeah. I really want to shout out the Lemon Twigs too. If you haven't heard their
Okay.
album, Everything Harmony,
Hmm.
last year. I mean, they even have a new one out now, but
Oh.
I'm overdosing on everything. I mean, they're mellow. I'm telling you, it was they didn't record it digitally. They were used 2-inch tape. They recorded it the old way,
Nice.
and it's just a masterful work and just really Beatlesque, uh,
Okay.
not in a copycat way.
Mm.
A lot of Brian Wilson, Beach Boys vibes, even some kind of 70s Bee Gees vibes,
Mm.
which they pull off. You know, their voices are just very, very distinct in their
So the
melody.
harmonies then, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, their melodies are great too.
Nice. Very good. Um, would you ever want to write songs for other artists? Because I know in certain scenes in Nashville, there's more songwriters writing for other singers. Is there anyone out there now who you'd want to write for?
Yeah, I mean, it's anyone's guess who would be interested in some of these songs. Like I said, I came to Billy with like 40 or 50 songs, but I probably got close to 500 that could do something for someone, you know,
Yeah.
that would be proud enough to put my name on. I've written some
Yeah.
bad things too, obviously. You have to
We all
you
do. We
have
all
to write
do.
the bad ones to get to the good ones.
This is true. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I came up with the secret to writing great songs is finishing songs because it leaves your attention open for new ideas to come in. That's my own theory on it,
I think you
you
let
know.
the cat out of the bag on that one.
Well, you know, it means more great music in the world,
Yes. I love
whatever.
it.
But to your question on artists covering my songs, there's a lot of great artists. I grew up in the 90s, so I'd love to see
Mhm.
Gary Allan cut one of my songs.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
All right.
uh he's still in vogue in my book. He's great.
Nice.
But there's a lot of new talent. There's this young kid that he's like 17 now, but he's just got a beautiful voice. He was that yodeling kid, Mason something, in
Yes.
he's in that Walmart
Yes.
yodeling video, but he's
Hmm.
grown up now and he's just sounds awesome.
That's
It's a
great.
song called Blue Over You that's just really harkens back to like countrypolitan from like, sort of
Yes.
contemporary country, which I love. I love the strings and
Hmm.
classy stuff like that.
The the Ken Burns country music documentary. I don't know if you saw any of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so what a
Good stuff.
beautifully well made film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the audio book too. That's
Oh, nice. Very good.
go over it again.
Very good.
I'm not that, for someone that does country music and Southern rock, I'm not really encyclopedic about, oh, I know every George Strait song, right? Every George Jones song, you know, but I love great melodies, so I wouldn't win any country cred as
Oh,
far as
that's
that
a
goes.
well,
But
that's a oh,
yeah,
whatever. It's fine. The like I've mentioned before, the song "Closing Down Memory Lane" is just my favorite off that album. I've mentioned it
thank
many
you.
times now. Um, sounds like a single to me, but that's just me.
Thanks.
Are there any songs of yours that are personal favorites that you just you hear it back and you go, I hit the nail on the head with that one. Your personal favorites, I guess.
There's as far as from the record, I mean, there's others too,
Right.
because there's just a lot. I
Yeah.
would say there's more. Like I write all the time, and it's just a muscle anymore. So there's more. I have more than I could sensibly and strategically release as Jon Statham. So, but as far as from the album, I really think the pieces, sort of a waltz type of tune
Yep.
on side one,
Yep.
and something beautiful. There's something really really pure about that. And since there isn't a song called "The Struggle is Beautiful," the song "Something Beautiful" is probably as close to the album, the title track as you can get, and it really sums up the theme of the album, which is going through struggle and overcoming it and finding the beauty on the other side. Everybody has stuff they're going through, and
Yeah.
through a lot of crap the last
Yeah. Oh yeah.
4 years, as individuals and as a culture. So if this helps anybody, through that, then I'm glad I did it.
I think it will. I think it really will.
Cool.
Um, yeah. So what is next for Mr. Jon Statham? Anything?
Well,
Yes.
I have to start playing out. I've mostly been a studio cat, but for the last several years, I
Hmm.
mean, in my life, I've definitely played over 10,000 shows and individual performances, but it's
Right.
time to get back into that, put a band
Yep.
together and just start
Nice.
promoting the album that way. Because these
Right.
songs, they really become something else live. It
Yep.
becomes a whole experience. You take that, what you're hearing in your headphones, and you put it out into the physical world, and it becomes music is a communal experience. It
Yep.
needs to be experienced with other people. So
Yeah. Definitely. Because I remember I recorded a song during COVID, and it had this sing along melody part. And as soon as I started playing it live and hearing people singing that part back, I got goosebumps. I'm like, I created a thing here. I'm like, oh, it's one of the
yeah,
it's not mine anymore.
that's the payback right there.
It's
That's
like I'm getting it. I'm feeling it. It's like, oh man,
Yeah,
alive. You
it
know
makes it
it.
all worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're ever up New England way, let me know because I'm in Boston,
Oh,
and
nice.
we'll definitely see if we can connect. That'd be fun.
I'd like that. I love
Yeah.
Boston. I went to college up there, and
Okay.
it's a great city.
Is it Berkeley or
Yeah, I went
okay?
there for a few years.
Okay. I love
Worked at
it.
the Pizza Pad restaurant
Okay. All
right
right.
behind the runway.
Oh, okay. Is that Lansdowne Street? No.
Um,
Next to Lansdowne Street?
from BU,
Yep.
Commonwealth, I think,
I
down
think
at
so. I'm
right
horrible
by
with
the
street
Citgo,
names.
right by the big
Yep.
Citgo.
Oh, yep. Oh, yep. There you go.
Used to find baseballs in the dumpster.
That's about right. Yeah. I remember one time during a Red Sox game, one of the players hit a home run over the green monster and slammed into the windscreen of somebody's car in the parking lot,
Nice.
which I found funny.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Hey, John, I really appreciate it. And this has been so great. Thank you. And we'll see you soon. Come back anytime.
Appreciate you, Andy.
All right. Bye bye.
Everybody.
For more of my original content, visit my website, www.andyconley.com.